The last few weeks on the channel, we've talked a lot about Evolving Skies, Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, from Sword and Shield specifically, and I think it's time to talk about some of the other sets like Chilling Reign and Astral Radiance that are also seeing some good growth and hitting some very interesting price points. Starting with the Chilling Reign booster box, this is up 16% in the past 3 months alone, from a low of 213 up to 250. So I say that $250 mark is that interesting price point. Now, Chilling Reign is kind of up there with those other sets like Lost Origin and Fusion Strike of being like the next ones behind Evolving Skies. But for some reason, for me, it sometimes it gets lost in the sauce a little bit, and sometimes it's hard. I forget it's a $250 box now, so it's right up there, and it is important. There's some other cards that are seeing some good gains that we need to talk about, but $250 is a great an interesting psychological price point. If we zoom out here to like the 1 year chart, you'll see before, so it did run up to around 230. This was in June, and in last year it went from 160 to 230, came back down to 203, and now we're seeing that 250, that all-time high on the Chilling Reign booster box. There's 84 available on TCG, not a ton. If you want to pick one up, you're going to pay more than that though. You're going to pay $285. That's the lowest listed on TCG, and the listed median is 300. So it's just a matter of time till this box gets to 300 as well. Last solds before that were 250, 260, 270. But yeah, it looks like those days are gone. 285, lowest listed on TCG. Then we got the chase card of the set, the Blaziken. In the past month, it's up 8%. About 300, just under 300 market value. You got the Blaziken VMAX, the giant one. He's doing his little thing with the with the Inteleon and the other guys like training underneath him. I don't know. Are they fighting him or training? I think they're training, right? I don't know. That's how I always took this card. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you guys think something different of this. But most recent sale actually 314, 305, 330, 320. So if those sales hold, then we're going to see this market price definitely come up a little bit on this card, over 300 into the like lower 300s. On the 3-month chart though, it's only up 6%, and we're going to talk about that. 25 copies available, so this one's very difficult to pull. If you're not familiar, Cool Trainer Ryan went through cases and cases trying to pull this card. Very difficult. The 1 year chart, so this was a year ago, $164. Man, that's crazy to think about. It ran up in the alt art boom to 400, and that's an interesting point. That if this card can get back to that, I think is going to be big. But the reason this card is being brought up is because this card was free falling since then for a long time. It just kind of came down off of that till about November is kind of when it bottomed, and now we're seeing that bounce off of that. So if you were looking to pick one up and you missed it, you might be the time to pick this up before this card continues to run. So if you want to pick one up on TCG, you're already at 320, lowest listed from a good seller. So you're already at 320, which is above market and above the most recent sale. So this card's going to continue to go. It's going to get some attention on the set now that the boxes are at 250. So just keep an eye out on the Blaziken. It's not just the Blaziken going up though. This is a stunning version of Moltres, up 20% in the past 3 months. From, it looks like the low is right here. Oh, it's about 127. 127 to 150. Most recents though, I feel like this has been a common theme on all the videos lately. Most recents always higher, for the most part. 180, 160, 150. So only the last two really being higher. 45 copies available. We'll look at the 1 year chart here. Now this one, before this was 130, 120, ran up to around 181, came down to 126. So this is one of those where it retraced back to its old prices, which doesn't show a lot of strength for the card, unfortunately. But yeah, we're seeing a little tick up now, and once again, this last sale at 179, that puts it back to its old pricing here at 181. So we are already pretty much getting back to this previous high on the Galarian Moltres. So yeah, that card doing really well. Then the Snorlax, the golden Snorlax, this one kind of surprised me. This is kind of one of those old gold cards that's just not quite as good. It just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me, especially when you're comparing to the Galarian Gallery cards from Crown Zenith. Like, it's not even a comparison in my eyes, but I do love Snorlax, one of my favorite Pokemon. So he's up 13% from 60 up to 69. Percentage-wise, decent. Dollar-wise, not the craziest gain. If we look on the 1 year here, though, you'll see that this card's down 2% on the 1 year chart. So this card may have bottomed here at 60, and now it's rebounding. So 27 copies available. Not the craziest card, but just had to talk about the gains. Then real quick, if you're new to the channel, if you're not subscribed, go and watch this video, the one free giveaway right here. It will be linked at the end of the video. We are nearing 10K subscribers. So as a thank you and a give back to the community, we're doing a Surging Sparks booster box, Japanese 151 booster box, PSA 10, and some sleeve boosters to 4 winners. So if you guys want to enter, you just watch, like, comment to that video, and you must be subscribed. We'll use a random comment picker to pick the winners, and then those will be announced in a video after we hit 10K. Back to the cards. This set, though, like, having, you know, I'm still not the biggest fan of, like, these Galarian versions of the legendary birds. I'm just not. But they're growing on me. That's been the common, also the other common theme, I feel like, for mostly the SV era, but also some Sword and Shield stuff. It's just, the more you see it, these cards are nice in person too, but the Galarian Articuno's up 11% in the past 3 months, from 40 to 41 to 47. Not the biggest dollar jump. And this is another one of those things where these cards just aren't really that strong, because the previous low was around 39.40, ran up to 75, and then it came back just barely above those old highs. You want to see, when a card is strong, it's going to set a higher low. And we just didn't really see that with some of these cards. It's kind of unfortunate, because these are nice cards. Also, the Zora V. This is a really underrated alternate art from the era. I just like this card a lot. I don't know why. I'm not super attached to Zora, but I just like this art. I think it's a nice looking card. It's up 12%. So a lot of cards from this set popping. 12% up in the past 3 months, from 40 to 46. Most recent, though, is a lie. I hate it when they do that. TCG shows most recent at 70, but most recents are actually 46, 44, 46. There's a 50 in here, so very accurate pricing on the Zora. Decent little gains there. The 1 year chart, though, once again, same story. There's not a lot of attention on this card, because when it ran up from 40 to 61, it went back down lower. It came back down just, pretty much to 40. So it's just not enough attention, not enough eyes on these other alternate arts. So not one of the strongest. We also have some sealed product moving from Chilling Reign. This is the Pokemon Center ETB. It's up 13% in the past 3 months. It was pretty stagnant. You could see just like 67, very consistent, and now it's up to around 77. Most recents are way higher than that, though. 99, 89, 99, 99, 99. Yeah, so, this market price is definitely going up. Listed median is 99. You can pick up lowest listed for 82, which would be a little bit above market, but not quite as high as some of those recent solds. These PC ETBs aren't as desirable. They don't have the stamped promos from Sword and Shield, so they're not always worth it. If you're wanting to pick up some ETBs for your collection or sealed, I'd just go with the regular ETBs. They're just a lot more affordable. They are up. The regular ones are up 11% in the past 3 months, and 17% in the past month alone. So yeah, from a low of around 46 to 56, so $10 gain. There's actually not that many of these regular ETBs. The 1 year chart's broken. There's not that many of these on TCG. Only 38 of the regular ETBs available. So that's kind of what we got going on Chilling Reign. I feel like it's mostly tied back to the booster box and the Blaziken, with everything else being just kind of a little less, if I'm being honest. But Astral Radiance also hitting another interesting milestone. 16% growth in the past 3 months, from a low of 163 up to 190 market. But these most recent sales, we've cracked the $200 mark. 200. This one's, I'm counting at 200, 204. So 81 boxes on TCG. You can pick this up. It's 200 now. That's the lowest listed from these sellers. So this has an updated. Astral's a $200 box. So that's kind of why we're talking about this. Getting to that $200 price point is another, like, just an interesting, it's a psychological thing. So 200 is a big deal for this. And the 1 year is looking like super solid 40% growth. You could have, these were 135 below MSRP a year ago. Ran up to 180, came back down to 160, and now we're at 200 a box on Astral. Astral's kind of another one of those weaker sets that is definitely below some of those top tier, but obviously proving to be a solid investment, as most of the Sword and Shield era is. And the leading chase card is the Machamp. This is definitely an underrated, just a fun card. Not as popular for Pokemon, but I absolutely love, from a collecting standpoint, everything going on in this card. It's just super fun. It's up 4% in the past 3 months, so it was falling right here. It fell all the way down to 114, and now it's bounced back up to 125. The 1 month chart shows only 2%, so it's not doing anything too crazy. It did set a higher low, so when it had its little alt art boom, it went from 78 of the low up to almost 200, and then so 78 to, that 114, 115 being that higher low. So this does show me that there is more interest in this card, because it is the chase card, than some of those other ones. When we're referring on a chart, when we have big growth, they always retrace at some point, whether it's a little or a medium amount or a lot, whatever it is. You want to see them set a higher low. You see this in stocks. You see this in a lot of things. It shows strength in the market because the demand didn't just fall off the map. Because if the demand fell off the map, it would have went back to this price or somewhere near here. But so holding over 100, I think, is a really good. It's a good notion for this card. And probably my favorite card from this set, definitely the Starmie V. The nostalgia from watching the anime growing up with Misty and Starmie. This card's up 20% in the past 3 months, which is nice to see. It's one of those trainer gallery cards. There's a lot of, I still feel like, really undervalued trainer gallery cards. They're a lot easier to pull, so I mean, it does make sense. 58 copies available on TCG. This is a $60 card now. And just in the past 3 months, went from 45 to like 62. So those are some solid gains there. 14% in the past month alone. So, and it looks like, I don't know if it's cooling off a little. The sales have definitely slowed down a little bit on the Misty. If we look at the 1 year, we'll see, once again, setting higher lows. This is what we want to see. I bring this up just so you guys, when you're looking at charts, especially on the 1 year time frame, you can see that there's strong demand on this card. This was a 30 in the 30s, like high to mid 30s. For a while, a year ago, it ran up. Its alt art boom took it to 67. We're like right there. I think this card can definitely surpass this old price, and came back down to around 40, 50 is where it cooled off, and it kind of traded in this channel right here, and now it's run up. So surpassing this price right here, which we're right there, would be another great move for this card. It'd be nice to see. I feel like it's just a matter of time. However, this set and maybe this card just don't get talked about enough. I don't know. There's a lot of great trainer gallery cards, though, from just the whole Sword and Shield era that are a lot of underrated. This one at least has some value attached to it, so that is nice. We also have the Origin Form Diga V, which, whether you like the Pokemon or not, this is a really stunning looking card in person. I really like all the colors. This one's up 35% in the past 3 months. Really solid growth from 30 up to 41. And most recent sales higher than that, 48, 47, 45, 47. So this one is tough to pull alternate art. The market obviously thought it was undervalued, considering those gains right now. 35% is really good. So that's really great. The last month, 22% in the last month alone. We'll zoom out to the 1 year. Higher lows again. This was a $24 card, ran up to 50, came back down to the 30s. So, and now we're at 42. There's at least showing demand on this one as well. I don't know how crazy this one will go, but it is just a nice looking, more affordable alternate art. Some of these alternate arts are so expensive. The chase cards, it's nice to see them that just are affordable. As the collector side of me, the investing side is like, well, that kind of sucks, but. When you want to, there's so many cards to collect. I mean, it's nice to have them be affordable. Then we have, so this is the Palia, Origin Form Palia. This is an interesting art design I kind of liked. I was kind of getting like Doctor Strange Mirror Dimension a little bit from this card, just like how everything is like all weird. So, up 8%, nothing crazy, on this card. It doesn't really have, it doesn't really have quite the demand. However, the chart would indicate that it does, because it ran from 30 up to 44 and then set a new higher low, a lot higher in the high to mid 30s. Just not as popular of a Pokemon, I think, is what it is. If you want to pick one up, you're looking at $41, which is exactly market price. Last solds are actually higher. There's a few 53 sales in there. So that is the Palkia. We also have the Garchomp V with Cynthia. This is another nice trainer gallery card. I always like the trainer with the Pokemon. I just like them. I don't know. They're always nice. And I think Garchomp's kind of a cool Pokemon. Up 8%. Nothing wild. It's nothing big. 13% though in the past month alone, so that's looking pretty good. The 1 year chart, this had a bigger spike, right? This one did retrace. It went from about $20 up to $46. So this card was a lot more expensive during that little alt art boom. Came down and settled around $25. And so now we're seeing a little run up off of that. So definitely setting a higher low, a little bit of demand on the Garchomp V. Not super surprising. It's a nice looking card. Then we got, okay, this is one of my favorite cards. This is one of my, probably one of my favorite undervalued alternate arts from the era. I have talked about this a little bit recently. This is just a fun, stunning card. I own multiple copies of this in a PSA 10 because they're so affordable. It just makes me happy to have them. I just look at them on my wall. It's only up 3% in the past 3 months. So not doing particularly very good. But 5% in the past month. If we look at the 1 year, it's not doing as strong, and I get it. I totally understand. Definitely not that popular of a Gen 1 Pokemon, but it ran from 17 up to almost $50. And yeah, it's kind of came down. It looks like we hit the bottom on this card. $22 looks like it probably was the bottom as it's continued to climb off of that, with most recent sales being $33.28. Yeah, so I think that might be in the rearview mirror for now. We'll see, but it definitely was at these prices, at this price back here before it ran. So I did not set a higher low, so the demand is not there for this card, even though I want it to be. I want it to be valuable. But if you want to pick one up, you got 27, which would be exactly market if you're wanting to pick one up right now. Then we got, this is another alternate art, the Sneasler. Definitely not a very popular alternate art. Very affordable if you're looking to pick up a cheap alternate art for your collection. It's up 2%. Nothing crazy. Nothing wild. So it's not... I bring this card up because it's not everything is moving from all of these sets. The Sneasler is up 23% on the year, and it ran from about 19 up to 33 and did set a higher low at 23. So there is a little bit of demand there because it did not retrace to these old highs. So that's nice to see on the Sneasler. And yeah, I mean, most recent sale is actually 30, which would bump this up closer to this high. I don't think that's going to hold because you can pick one up at 25. There's 69 copies available, so I don't think it's going to do anything too crazy. We also have the ETBs that are coming down right now. They're actually down 12%. Not a lot of things that we talk about right now in the market are actually coming down like this. So 12% in the past 3 months and 15% in the past month alone. These are $30. Let's see what the 1 year looks like. It's up obviously over the 1 year. Back here it was 30. It ran up all the way to 42 and now we're back down. I think there was just a Black Friday sale. A lot of these coming into the market real cheap. So I'm assuming that's what is affecting these. I'm not positive. I didn't really get in on those Black Friday ETB sales. I know there were some good ones at Target and stuff. I just didn't really get into those personally. We also have just some underrated, another underrated trainer galleries from Astral. Now this has the Glarian Birds just in a lesser, like a trainer gallery, and these cards are actually doing well percentage wise. Yeah, I picked up these copies in a PSA 10 like a while ago, just because they were cheap, right? And I like them as a display piece for my collection. But they're up 33% from, and dollar wise, I know it's not there, but $4.80 up to $6.41. There's a lot of copies available. These are easier to pull. And you can say this, when this had its little boom right here, ran up to $14. It definitely set a new lower low. So not a lot of demand on these cards, but if you're looking to pick up some copies for your collection, they're nice to look at. You got the Glarian Articuno. Like I said, I'm a sucker for the trainer with the Pokemon. Those are some of my favorite cards. 16% up in the past 3 months. on the Articuno once again. This one actually did a little bit better. It didn't retrace quite as bad. Went from $3.50 up to $11, and now it's about a $5-6 card. And that's pretty much reflected in these prices if you want to pick one up. So a little bit of growth on the Articuno. Then we also have the Zapdos. It's up 12%, a similar story. It's nothing too crazy. I just wanted to give them some attention. That's all. I'm not. It's not like they're gonna run just because I talked about them either. It's not. But it's just nice to see. 21% growth on the year. It ran up to 5. This was the high, 5.75. Came back down. It got hit hard down to $3. It's back up to 5. So that's nice to see on the Zapdos. I just think they're just fun little cards. That's all. I'm not saying this is going to be the cornerstone of your investment and to invest into these for the next 10 years. I'm not saying that. They're just fun cards. That's all. That's all. Also, real quick, lastly, I just wanted to touch on the Silver Tempest booster boxes real quick. This is not a dedicated Silver Tempest video, but we've talked about it recently. And we're seeing 22% growth in the past 3 months. And this is another psychological price point for the set. 22% from $160 up to $195. However, most recent sale, and I know they're not all of them. We got a 200, and yes, I know, I round up, it's 2 cents off. 200, 205, 205, 205. There is another 200 down here and another 200 down here. So Silver Tempest looks like it's hitting 200. If you want to pick one up, you're going to pay 205 from a seller with good feedback. So Silver Tempest seeing a $200 booster box. That leaves... let's see, not a lot of booster boxes that are still talked about as decent investments. I'm going to pull up one thing here real quick if my keyboard can reconnect. We're going to take a look at battle styles just for a moment. I just wanted to pull up 2 things. We're just going to pull up the booster box and the Sleepy Tyranitar just for a second. I did not pull this up before the video. So these boxes are not doing quite as well. They went from 130 down. Yeah, I mean, they're down or even kind of flat in the past 3 months. The 1-year chart shows pretty solid growth, 23%. So it was a $100 box a year ago. Ran up to almost hit 140, and most recent sale though, 144. There's a few 144s. I mean, if you want to pick one up, the lowest listed is 143, which would be MSRP, which could drive people. I believe these are in stock on the Pokemon Center still. Somebody fact check me. Let me know in the comments. I think they are. But the Tyranitar is a nice card from the set. And it's not really doing too hot either. It's about even. About flat on the 3 months. The 1-year chart did set a higher low. It was around $90, ran up to almost $200 at the peak. And it's kind of come down. It looks like maybe this 130 was the bottom for the Tyranitar, and it's moving up. Most recent sales, 155, 147, 155. So, in summary, the reason I bring this up is that there is some... the lesser Sword and Shield boxes, sets, chase cards, for the most part, trending upwards, setting new highs. This bull market, people use the analogy of a rising tide raises all ships. Apparently, for the most part, obviously there's exceptions, but looks like that might be the case for Sword and Shield. So I just wanted to give some attention to some of these lesser boxes. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and remember, it was never a phase.